The most merciful thing in this world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. While the opening of Rick and Morty has changed quite a bit from season to season, one thing remains the same: this terrifying creature chasing Rick, Morty, and Summer. This has long confused fans and intrigued theorists, as many other clips are from actual episodes. There's Jerry killing the Cronenbergs from Rick Potion number 9, Morty facing hepatitis A from Anatomy Park, and the family attacking Rick from Me Seeks and Destroys. And yet this explosive final clip is in no episode of Rick and Morty. This creature is never referenced or even shown, which has led many fans to speculate this creature is in fact Cthulhu, an old god from the works of H.P. Lovecraft, who can destroy entire universes with a wave of his hand. And his presence here is reference to Rick's unstoppable powers. But anyone familiar with the works of Lovecraft knows that the true terror from his writings doesn't come from the monsters or what they're capable of, but rather from simply knowing they exist. Simply realizing how insignificant and temporary you are in the universe drives people to madness. Therefore, Rick is not Cthulhu. He is its victim. While Rick's backstory is still hotly debated, it is very obvious from the old man in the seat that Rick feels a connection to this man who lost his wife, and likely lost his own, as we have yet to see Beth's mother in the present. However, I don't think this is the reason for Rick's depression, or more accurately, I don't think this is the primary reason for his depression. I think that comes from what Rick did next. He invented portal technology, and he went to another world, one where his wife was still alive, and for a time, he lived a happy life with her once again. But slowly, his brain came to realize the horrible truth. If his wife's death could be undone so easily, what did anything matter? Any decision he made, people he killed, or planets he destroyed could be undone by simply switching to another universe where he'd never done it. And there was an infinite number of Ricks throughout the multiverse doing the exact same thing as him. Nothing he did mattered, and nothing he cared about was special or unique. And thus, the ultimate truth of the universe isn't that Rick doesn't care about Morty, or that a Morty can't be a Rick. It's that Rick is jealous of Jerry. When Jerry is faced with Beth thinking she's a clone and freaking out, he doesn't care if she's real or not, as long as she loves him. When he sees dozens of versions of himself, he isn't shocked or horrified by the implications. He's just mad at Rick. Later on, we see him fixing a TV with a group of Jerrys, while a dozen other groups are doing the exact same thing in the exact same way. To Rick, this would be a scene straight out of hell, doing monotonous, pointless work with identical versions of himself. But here, Jerry is happy and content because he can do the one thing Rick can't do: not think about it. He is truly blissful in his ignorance, and Rick wants this, but he can never have it. He doesn't know who he is without his genius, and is terrified what will happen if he loses it. Because even with all of his brilliance technology, there are still things that he knows he can't defeat. In the season 2 finale, he encounters a planet in which everything is on a cob, and this terrifies him. What exactly this means is never explained, and it's likely that it simply can't, because the terrifying implications are simply beyond our understanding. Just like squirrels, another entity that Rick is essentially helpless to defeat, and his only option is to flee them in their terrifying wrath. Finally, and most significantly, there is the cat from Claw and Hoarder. While Jerry is mostly content to never question why the cat can talk, Rick scans his brains after 30 seconds of meeting him because he simply must know. And the answer is so disgusting and horrifying that it almost drives him to suicide. But in the end, he keeps his memories of this because he must be prepared to defend himself and his family from whatever terrifying things resided within the cat's mind. But what's most surprising here is his interaction with Jerry. Not only did Rick attempt to stop him from viewing the memories, but even gave him the sweet release of ignorance, erasing his memories of the cat's mind. And in the end, Jerry was able to accept the simple explanation Rick gave him. Oh, he's from outer space. Because he's a Jerry. But this act by Rick speaks volumes. He went out of his way to keep Jerry as the simple, happy buffoon that reminded Rick of who he used to be, and while it may seem that Rick goes out of his way to make Jerry's life a living hell, is this really the case? Sure, he broke up their marriage, but this is freaking Rick. He let dozens of plants be killed just to get Morty to stop writing a screenplay. He stopped time for months to clean up a party. If he truly wanted Jerry dead or gone, he could have easily arranged it in such a way that nobody suspected him or even remembered Jerry. In the season 3 finale, he even shows up with a gun to kill Jerry, but then puts it down for no reason with no real explanation. Rick hates Jerry because he reminds him of who he used to be, and because of that, he just can't kill him. Because the thing Rick wants most is to go back to that happy father he used to be, before he realized the true meaninglessness of the world. But he can't do that. Someone needs to remember. Someone needs to know the horrible things that are out there that can wipe out both himself and his family. So he keeps remembering. He keeps being an insane, twisted, drunken god. That's the only thing he can do because he is a Rick. And his only solace comes from the lie he tells himself that he is the Rickest Rick of them all.